Hey everyone, it's Miss Hodges. It's 3:30 on Monday, May 4, and I'm coming on to do a little help video because this is the first time we're really focusing on not just writing essays, but writing true stories in a while. There's some strategies here to help you, and I've got my paper set up like on Google Drive, and I'm just going to show you how when it's time to work on my own, I'm taking all these things and using them to help me. So today's focus is how to write a true story. And like I said, it's not really a true story, it's a true trouble story. Because we know that conflict and problems are at the heart of stories. So like I said in today's video, this might actually be the hardest part for some of you, is just thinking of something that happened to you that caused trouble. And it could be a time you had trouble, as in a time things were hard, or a time that you felt like something bad was going to happen. And this is something that I had to sit and think about for actually quite a while this morning. And if you guys remember, like in the video, I said that, okay, when I had to put Chester in his crate this morning, it was trouble. It was a ton of trouble. And so my trouble story was about that very small thing, but it's my idea for my trouble story. And now this strategy is new, but this is the most important thing, because when you can do this strategy, everything else falls into place. We're going to touch the pages and tell the story. Not write, not sketch yet, but just talking through our story. And we want to make sure we spread the story out onto 5 pages today. That's why there's 5 pages on Google Drive. Okay, pages 1 and 2 is all about the start of a story, the beginning, and especially how trouble starts. The middle of the story, pages 3 and 4, are really going to focus on trouble getting worse. And then at the very end, our last page should tell us how things get resolved. And if you looked at your page setup on Google Drive, I actually wrote that for you here to help you remember that pages 1 and 2, page 1 tells the start, whereas page 2 gives you hints at the trouble. Page 3 is getting worse, and then it gets worse again on page 4. And then page 5 is how it gets resolved. So this was just more of a way to help you think about the story. So I have 5 pieces of paper in front of me, and I decided that I was going to do 12 lines. I'm pushing myself as a writer. This is my page 1. This is my sketch box, but for later. And I actually went ahead and wrote 1 through 12 to help myself see size. But right now I'm just going to touch and tell. So how does my story start? This morning, I woke up. I got Chester's carrier out and I put it in the living room to get ready for the vet. Okay. Nothing so much about the trouble, but I've definitely given you a hint about what's going to happen. Okay, so page 1 is just how the story starts. Okay. Page 2, I'm going to hint at the trouble. I go and pick up Chester from the bedroom. I give him some cuddles. I give him some kisses and love. And Chester sees the carrier. Okay, nothing terrible has happened, but I've definitely given you a little hint about what's going to happen. So he sees the carrier. I'm kind of keeping you on suspense. Okay, now the middle of my story, page 3, it needs to get worse. So I kneel down. I put Chester in the crate. His claws come out. They're on my leg, they're on my arm, they're on my chest, they're going through my clothes, they're on my skin. He's scratching me, he's howling at me. It's not good. Okay, the trouble has definitely gotten worse. And now I have to make it get even worse when I go to page 4. Page 4. Now it's gonna get even worse. Chester breaks loose. He runs away to my bedroom. He hides under the bed. I had to take my mattress off the frame. I had to move the frame under. I had to pluck up Chester. I had to bring him back to the living room. And he was even more angry. It definitely got worse. Okay? And now my last page is all about resolving. And even though it's solving the problem, it's not really a good ending for Chester. And you'll hear it when I'm talking. Just because my story ends doesn't mean it's going to be happy. Okay, I grab Chester by the neck, I grab him by the back, I really firmly, I push his butt in first. He's still meowing, but not fighting me as much. I quickly close the gate on the door. He's trying to poke his head out, but I move his paws out of the way and I close the carrier. Chester's in the carrier, we're ready to go to the vet. Okay, my problem got solved. Wasn't really a great experience, but it got solved. So that is just how to touch and tell the story. today. You have to really make sure you stretch your story out and have a clear plan. This is what's tricking most people, is that you're not starting your story, or you're having trouble with the problem. You're trying to tell me this right away. But remember, we want to leave, like someone said earlier, breadcrumbs of our problem. We don't want to tell the problem yet. We just want to hint that something bad's going to happen. And for me, that was when Chester sees the carrier, or the fact that I said I'm going to the vet. But the big action happens here, definitely, on pages 3 and 4. Okay? So now that I have a clear plan, now I'm ready to do my next step. And this is on Google Drive, which is sketching. And when I sketch, it's a really quick drawing of what happens. So on page 1, I told you guys that I went, sorry, I'm doing this with both my hands. I went and I got his carrier. And when I got his carrier, I brought it into the living room. So I might need a little chair. Okay. Here's my chair, here's his carrier. And I'm trying to remember some of the things. Oh, I had a little stack of blankets right here. I wasn't able to give him treats. There was nothing nearby. Okay. So it's a quick sketch to remind me that this is the part with the carrier. And look, I drew some blankets because that's what I put in the crate. I didn't tell you that earlier. But when I sketch, now I have some extra information I can use when it's time to write. Okay, but for now I'm still sketching. So this is the scene where I get his carrier out. Okay. Oh, this is the nice part where I pick him up and I give him lots of kitty love. And Chester thinks everything is okay. And then I might also draw even another picture, or I might even just do that, because Chester's going from so happy. Oh, that's not a nice face, but it's a sketch. I'm like, I love you, Chester, and he's happy. And then maybe I even want to draw him shocked, because this is when Chester sees the crate. I don't know. It's just a quick sketch though. So this is me, I'm giving him some love. Chester's feeling good, and then he's shocked because he sees the crate. I could have probably done that sketch a little bit better, but it's okay, it's my first time. Okay, then I need to go back and kind of tell my story. Okay, what was gonna happen again? How did it get bad? And now I sketch the scene where he's clawing my arms and my legs. And when I do that, when I draw my face, right away, that's more detail that I can put in the story. My face was shocked. Did I yell? Did I scream? What did I say? What was Chester? Now I have to draw Chester. Okay, what does he look like? And all these little details are gonna help me write longer. The goal is to make sure we write 8 to 12 lines. We wanna write pretty long, okay? Then you guys know my trouble gets even worse. He hides under the bed. I'll sketch that. And then last but not least, oops, skipped a page. Last but not least is how it gets solved. So I would go get my last paper and I would talk about how it gets solved. But I'm gonna sketch each part. And we sketch that, so when it's time to write, when you write each part, by having that sketch, that will help you fill up 8 to 12 lines, okay? This is more of just to remind me of the steps and to help me and to jot anything down I want. Because you know what? It's actually quite hard to do all this in my head without jotting down little notes. That was pretty tough. But I tried it and I said it about 3 or 4 times and then I sketched. But I did have to kind of do these together. So the planning is just talking to yourself and sketching, and then talking to yourself and sketching, and even saying things like, okay, what else was there that I can put in my sketch? Things that will come up in your writing. I am so looking forward to reading all these stories. I love the ideas you guys are coming up with for your trouble stories. Just really make sure you stretch it out over those pages. And this is the key. How does the story start? How does the trouble start? How does it get worse? How does it get worse again? And how does it get solved? All right, hopefully that helped you guys just to kind of see the papers as I went along. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Bye.